What's up? Travel Chronicles, chapter 52, 63, 62, somewhere around there. It's in the title. So, the week we ran, experimental stuff, 2 batches of it, which actually went surprisingly well, we'll say. Pleasantly surprised by the results. Because at first, hearing about the process, what was going to happen, I think there may be some potential for some really bad things to happen if it's not controlled really well, and things actually went pretty well. So I was pleasantly surprised. It was not near as hard to control as what I was expecting, or as risky to control. Let's put it that way. Handling it after it's made is going to take some thought. It's going to take some work. So, but other than that, 2 batches. First time we made it at a less than production scale, but in a full size reactor. Anytime you do something like that, it's pretty impressive. At least from inside a company standpoint. Being able to put that together, be part of that team, feel pretty good. So that went well. We're getting closer to senior night or senior day for cross country. It's tomorrow, so we're getting real close. And it's got me thinking. One, in my high school career, my athletic endeavors, I never once participated in any type of senior event. So this will be my first time doing anything like that, and I'll be a parent of a senior. So that tells you anything about what I did. It was never an emphasis for my parents, right? Like my dad only made it to 8th grade. I don't think he made it through high school. My mom made it through high school, but that was in the 30s, 40s, early 40s. So she never really participated in athletic events. That wasn't a priority for her. They never cared about that stuff. And I'm not saying I care a ton about it, but it's definitely something for the kids to do. And whenever they're involved in something, I try to help them out as much as I can. Whether that be practicing with them or just cheering them on. I can't run with him. Obviously, he's a much better runner than me. So he won't let me drag him down. I got to go to the track with him once while he was running 400. So that was about the extent of me running with him. But a senior day approach is it's a unique thing because this is at least they got to have that season, right? So now we've made it all the way through the season. We've got to senior day. That's going to happen. It looks like unless something crazy happens in the next 12 hours. So it's quite a thing, and it's a unique point because a lot of times, okay, this is a good chance to get a PR or this, that, and the other, because you kind of started tapering down, and it's a fast, flatter track. It's not really track, but fast, flatter course. So there's an opportunity to run your best race of the season kind of right now, because the next week, the Cambridge course, it's hard because the first mile just takes it out of it, because that's where all the uphill is in that first mile. The first mile is just flat and uphill. There's no downhill in it at all. There's no rest in that first mile. And you're feeling good. You sprint out at the beginning, and then you're just working hard the rest of that mile. And it's real hard, I think, to pace yourself or to take it easy, because you start out sprinting and then you're going uphill, and then at the beginning of the second mile, there's a big downhill where you can rest some. Maybe get your breath back a little bit, get some speed going down that hill, and then the rest of that mile is pretty flat, a little bit of uphill at the end, and the third mile starts with uphill and then ends with a downhill. Well, like the last quarter, there's a downhill, and then the very last 10th of the mile, there's a pretty sharp uphill to the finish. But this course is one where they normally set their PR, for the year or maybe for their career. He's had some issues with the knees this year. Hasn't run as good as he did last year. He's run better lately, but he just hasn't had that low, 17:30 type run to where, okay, now if he makes that leap to sub 17, that makes sense, or that's within reason. He's been running 17:45, so even if this week if he has a good race, I think maybe it's 17:15 or something like that. But here's the thing, it's his last regular season race, if you want to look at it that way. The next week is postseason, and there's nothing guaranteed after that. So they're not going to celebrate anything, and obviously that raises some competition because you want to keep on running. This week, yeah, you have a title up for grabs, OVCCL, but it's not a it's not a conference, it's not a league. I guess it's technically a league, but it's not like a formal league. It's not like, oh, who's in the OVCCO? Just I couldn't even name the teams because people show up and it's like, oh, it's random teams. It's not in their one conference. I think all the teams are in the OVAC, but I'm not sure. Even after like 6 years of going here, I'm not even sure who all shows up to this one. I know they got a good enough team they should win. Even if a couple guys have a bad race, but being that last race, that last regular season race, the last race where there's not a ton of pressure on you. My advice is just go out, enjoy the day. Take it all in. It's a hard thing in life to realize you're doing something for the last time, right? So this is the place where he's raced more than any other place in his high school career, and this will be the last time that he races there competitively. And it's just, it's one of those things when you do something for the last time and you recognize it, it doesn't have to be a sad thing. It's a little bit sad. Oh, it's the last time. Oh, this is so horrible. I can do so much. You're 18 years old. It's not the last time you'll ever do anything. It's just, it's time for that part of your life to be over and to move on to something else. And I think, the younger you can be and realize, hey, I'm doing something for the last time. You get up in the morning, you do your prep, you remember what that feeling's like. Really concentrate, be in that moment when you get to the starting line, be in the moment of the race for 17, 18 minutes. Just take it all in. What was that start like? What was that first straight? How was the first mile? I was going up the hill. I was coming down the hill. How was the second mile? I was around the field and around the other field, and then coming back down that stretch to the clock. How was it? How did it feel making that stretch out one last time? I think if you have the right attitude going in, it's not a sad thing. It's something that you can really remember, appreciate, because sometimes life intervenes and you don't get the opportunity to savor a last moment. If an accident had happened, if someone had been hurt, if COVID struck, you didn't know when that last race was. And I'm not saying this is the last race. Hopefully you have districts next week. You don't know, but this is for sure the last time he'll be there. There's no other races scheduled here. This is it. And now you can really appreciate this is the last race. And I'm not saying, you go out and you try to win this one. That's not what I'm saying. Or even go out and it's like, well, it's time for me to have my best effort ever here. fine. I mean, you can control your effort. You can't control the results. You can control your effort. If somebody else runs better, good for them. There's better runners out there. The thing you don't want to do, though, is, use yourself up so you can't run next week, or, pull something and hurt yourself so you can't run next week. That's why I'm more like, go out at a high effort, but also with the intent to really take a mental picture, of that day, a mental recording, essentially, of what what did it feel like, what did it smell like, what did it sound like, that last race. And it'll be somewhat emotional, I'm sure, but don't let the emotions stop you from a good performance, one, and don't let worrying about the performance keep you from savoring the moment for what it is, the last time doing something, the last time you're somewhere. When I was a junior, maybe in high school or something, or a senior, we always went to Teams for Christ in Columbus, and there was a building there, was a nationwide center or something, and it didn't have anything to do with the conference, but it was someplace where you could go just on your free time and just walk around, visit, look at stuff. And they had these water fountains that were glass pane, so at the time, 30 years ago, it was kind of neat looking, and it was stone, like a stone path, kind of open, area to walk in. It's just, the last time I was there, and I haven't been back since the last time I was there, I kind of looked around and just, took it in for what it was. Like, this is maybe the last time I'm here. And ever since that point, I like to recognize when I'm going to be somewhere for the last time. We're going to do something for the last time. And I'm not saying he won't ever be back to Buckeye Local. I want to be back to Buckeye Local. I'm not saying that, because it's only just 5 miles down the road. But it's that last competition. It'll be the last time he runs there competitively. So, you have to appreciate those type of moments, because you've put 6 years in to get to this point, to have it mean something. And it's all right that this is it. It's not like you have to keep coming back here for the next 30 years. That's not what that means either. For it to mean something. It means something because you were here. So just, appreciate it for what it is, and then next week you go out and try to run your best race. Because that really could be your last one. This one isn't your last one. This is your last regular season race. It is what it is. And the rest of the time you're fighting and clawing and competing to try and keep running. And that's the thing about this. Like, 18 years old, you're starting to experience some of the first lasts, if that makes any sense, in your life, where this is the last time you'll do this is the last time you'll be in this school, this is the last time you'll be around these people, and you just, you have to appreciate it for what it is. And then you go on. Then there's something next. There's something new coming. So celebrating the last time you do something is kind of a marker. And then what's next? Because I'm still looking at things as what's next, right? I'm not looking back. I'm not going, oh man, I wish it was my senior day, because that was so awesome and cool and great. But I never had one. So I'm not fixated on that. So this is my first opportunity, probably my last, cross country. My daughter's not going to run. My son volleyball goes nuts. It's possible, completely possible. And I really enjoyed the cross country experience. It's a lot more of a family type sport. You're not yelling at kids because they didn't do good or something like that. And you have ups and you have downs, just like in any other sport, but you know, there's not a referee to yell at. You can't yell at the coach for not giving them enough time, or, you know, complain about what position they're playing or anything like that. No, you go run. You get what you deserve. And you cheer on your kid. You cheer on other kids on the team, and kids that they know, that they talk to, that, you know, they don't have animus towards. You cheer them on. You know, when you get up to the bigger meets, you're cheering other local kids on. And you know their names by now, and you see them. You're right there standing next to them when they're running, so you know right what they look like. You know, it's a different sport. It's a good sport. And tomorrow will be the last time down there. It'll be the last time, you know, as a parent down there. You know, I got to appreciate it for what it is. You know, really take it in. But, you know, I won't be able to take it in too much because I'll probably have to take Faith back to her game because she's playing at 11 o'clock. So then I'll be running back down, then watch him run, then take back off and go watch her play volleyball. That'll be my day. Hopefully COVID-free. All right. We got masks made up with his number on, too, right? Numbers mean a lot in other sports. They don't mean a whole lot in cross country, but they do have numbers on the jersey that I think they're assigned to schools. You know, what numbers are allowed to use. So we'll have the 414 on a mask. Maybe I'll wear it next week. All right. That's all I got for you. See you later. Be COVID-free.